I've been watching some videos on YouTube about like manifesting and energies and all this other kind of stuff. I'm sure you've seen similar videos. Um, and it's interesting. I think that it's something that works for some people, or at least they feel like it works for them, which is kind of like the most important part. Um, and I think there are other people out there who are skeptical. And I think that we're all sort of in different stages of life, and sometimes different messages make sense for different reasons at different times. Um, but I thought that the concept of, like positive energy and negative energy were interesting, especially when it feels like so many people are in one place and want to get to another. And you could sort of characterize that as maybe negative energy being interested or, being attracted to positive energy, and vice versa. And, maybe it's also true that positive energies reinforce each other and negative energies also reinforce each other. Um, so I think that the conversation can kind of go in a couple different ways. You can kind of take it into a more spiritual route. You can take it into a more sort of like metaphysical route, rather. Um, but I think that there's something there, that a lot of different people describe in different ways, but are all sort of working around the same idea. I started reading a book about Tao, um, and I think that that's a similar concept. I wouldn't be surprised if we're all sort of talking about the same oneness, and at the same time, this singular nothingness. But I thought it was very interesting. And, if you kind of think about it like weather, um, wind is cold air and hot air, or at least sort of cold air and hot air, trying to equalize moving pressure systems. There's a great book. There's a great book called Firmament, which I read while I was on an airplane, which was really fun. It sort of talks about the atmosphere and how the atmosphere works. I really recommend looking at that book. And, we can sort of predict weather. But I think that one of the common misconceptions about weather and weather prediction is that it's not that we are predicting the percentage chance of rain. We're predicting the percentage chance of rain in your area, which is obviously sort of like statistical. And that's very interesting. I was watching an interview with the CEO of Shein, or Shein, or however you pronounce it, the fast fashion juggernaut. And he said something really interesting, which was that, and if I remember it correctly, basically they can see in real time who's looking at what where, and based off of those clicks, they can sort of drill down into the data and see, let's say 25,000 people are looking at a crop top in the color red, and that sends a signal to the factory to start manufacturing this one particular product in that one particular color. And so they can like stock up ahead of time, and they don't have to worry about these like, insane, warehousing logistical issues that would go along with being one of the world's largest fast fashion companies. And, I just thought it was very interesting. And, it's sort of a similar analogy, I guess would be the right way to describe it. Because let's just say there's, negative energy in the sense that people feel like they want a new red crop top, and they're moving towards the red crop top. And because they have the data to track that, they can sort of make a statistical inference that there might be demand here for red crop tops. So, send that information off to the factory and get started. So, and that's just sort of an example, right? So if we're talking about weather, we're talking about, fast fashion, big data, and, the consumer's desire to consume. You know, there's sort of, they're all sort of connected. And I thought that was very interesting. And there's plenty more examples like that. This was just sort of, what I was thinking about, and felt interested in talking about.